Okay, let's get started. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our 11 o'clock session for today's Start Omaha Work Week. Today, we are featuring Anisha Avey. She is doing her presentation is about Business Innovation Act. For some quick housekeeping items, if you do have any questions, let's make sure you're putting those questions in the Q&A function, which is going to be at the bottom of your screen. If you have a comment, you can leave those in the chat. Again, let's make sure we're being respectful in the chat, but if you do have a question, let's put that in the Q&A. Questions will be answered at the end of Nisha's presentation, but go ahead and pop those in if you think of any questions while she is speaking. This is getting recorded, so if for some reason you can't stay throughout the whole thing or you want to watch it again later, we will be putting this on our DoSpace YouTube channel later next week, and I will make sure to put that link into the chat. Also, as a reminder, each of our program after our programs, make sure you're heading to our DoSpace Beanstack, which is our community engagement platform. There you can mark off that you attended this webinar and all our webinars throughout this week, and that enters you to win some prizes. We are giving away 3 gift cards to some local small businesses and then 1 headshot session. And so you can do that at dospace.beanstack.org. And again, I'll put that in the chat. So today, like I said, we have Anisha Avey. She is with the Nebraska Department of Economic Development, and she's been administering that since 2013, which matches awards under 5 different subprograms: the Nebraska Small Business Innovation Research and Small Business Technology Transfer Program, the Microenterprise Assistance Program, Prototype Academic Research and Development and Seed Investment Program, totaling over $8 million in assistance per year. She ran the Angel Investment Tax Credit Program for 3 years with $12 million awarded during that time. And Nisha graduated from the Venture Capital Institute, as well as she earned her Bachelor of Arts as cum laude in Sociology and Anthropology from the University of Nebraska. So welcome, Nisha.
Hi, thanks, Kim. So I am going to go over, as Kim said, our Business Innovation Act. It was passed in 2011 when the Nebraska Legislature decided that we had kind of a gap in how we were supporting our businesses, and we wanted to make an effort to support Nebraska upcoming startups and Nebraska entrepreneurs. So this program was developed with those 4 sub-programs in mind. My cohort, Ben Kusp, and I administer all of the programs, and I will discuss all of those programs today. One program is I don't have a slide on, is the Microenterprise Assistance Program. And some of you may actually want to utilize this program. We subcontract these awards out to non-government organizations that administer the program. And there's 2 faucets of the program. They have micro lending, which they can award small loans. Well, they can do bigger loans even to micro enterprises. So businesses typically under 10 employees that are trying to grow and are poised for growth. And often they work with businesses that don't have a lot of credit history, and so therefore can't get a bank loan. So they serve that purpose to satisfy that gap. And then they also offer technical assistance. So if you are fitting in that microenterprise category, they can work directly with you. They have group trainings. They have lots of training available through our funding mechanism, as well as Small Business Administration, to offer to the growing small businesses in Nebraska. The agencies that we work with on those are Nebraska Enterprise Fund, which is in Omaha, REAP, which they are primarily a rural organization that will help anybody or refer you to their partners, which are Catholic Charities and Community Development Resources in Omaha. And then we also work with Northeast Economic Development, which is primarily in the Northeast region of the state for those. And our website lists all the contact info for those agencies. Okay, so our other programs are, we have grant and investment programs that we offer. These programs that we administer the dollars and make the individual awards are all for the development of new and unique prototypes. And so I'll kind of go into how they differ and what each program entails. The prototype grant program, it provides matching funding of up to $150,000 for product development. So if you are developing a new and unique product, we've done a lot of software, we've done some medical devices, we have done some manufacturing where they've developed some type of new product as well. And it's open only to small businesses. It's 2-to-1 match. So if you're looking for, say, 100,000 from us, you need to have 50,000 to provide for that project in particular. We look at the budget of the project. We can only pay for development costs. So, developing a software is going to cost you $150,000 now. So if you are applying for that full award, you need to have at least half of that in matching funds available to go to the project. Everything that we do works on a reimbursement process. So you actually have to incur the expense before we can reimburse you for it. And then you provide to us evidence that you've made those payments and that what the expenses were. And then we reimburse at that percentage. So it comes out to be a 66% reimbursement. Most of our programs also have a value-added agriculture component, that if your project is focused on value-adding agriculture, we can match at a lower rate, or you would have to match at a lower rate. So it's a 4-to-1 match. We've worked with a lot of great startups in the state. We've awarded well over $12 million. And this year, we're at this moment, we are out of BIA funds, but July 1st, we will have renewed funding, which, depending on what passes in the legislature for our budget, will be at least 5.7 million, probably 9.7 million, and potentially up to 14.7 million. So we may have a lot to give out. We want to work with any great company doing some innovative work, and we may have opportunity to touch more companies this year. So the next program, the Seed Investment Program, this one is actually an investment. It is not a grant. So equity is taken from your business for an investment in your company. We can invest up to $500,000 per company, and the match is a 1-to-1 match. So if you're looking for a $500,000 investment from us, you'd have to come up with another $500,000 from outside investors as well. Again, this does actually qualify for the value-added agriculture component, lower match, 4-to-1 match. So this program, we partner with Invest Nebraska to administer the program. We, as a state agency, can't actually make and hold investments, so they do that part for us. They also do the due diligence on the company. So if you are going out to commercialize your product, you talk to us, you talk to Invest Nebraska, they would conduct due diligence on the company and determine what the investment should look like. If you are going out for a public round of investment, typically we just match the terms of that investment round. But we have made investments where the other portion, the matching portion, was privately invested. And so we've come to terms with the companies privately with those projects. As you can see, we invest a lot. We're up to about 14 million in less projects. So we can make those bigger awards we get a lot more invested over time. We do tend to tranche these investments at 125,000 or 250,000, so we can invest in multiple rounds of investment, as companies tend to go out for multiple rounds when they're growing. Ops Compass is in Omaha. They're doing really cool stuff too. Academic R&D. So Ben right now administers academic R&D and the prototype programs. This program is, this is actually a grant program again, and it's for any company that's working in conjunction with a Nebraska college or university to complete research and development on their product. So we've done a lot of projects with the Nebraska Food Science Center. There's a Nanotechnology Research Institute, just individual professors that are contracted by the Nebraska business. Then that way we can defray some of those costs of working at a Nebraska Institute of Higher Learning, lab space, whatever those costs may be. This is a two-phase program. Research and development typically takes at least 2 phases. We can invest up to award up to 100,000 for phase 1 and 400,000 for phase 2 projects. We typically, that's a pretty big investment for just research and development. We typically don't make that large of awards. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to work with as many folks and help as many people out. But 100 and 100 is not unreasonable. This is a 1-to-1 match. Again, 4-to-1 for value-added agriculture. We've invested 10.2 million since the program inception. Some of the companies we work with, Virtual Incision, New Tech. So Virtual Incision, they're creating a medical device. We've done a lot of those through this program. We have done a lot of food technologies through this program as well. SBIR, STTR, that's the Small Business Innovation Research and Small Business Tech Transfer Programs. Those are, these are actually federal programs. 11 different federal agencies have this funding ability to award grants to small businesses that are creating products, and a lot of it ends up being research and development. So they offer multiple phases for their awards. We can provide, we have a phase 0 planning grant, and that's up to 5,000 to pay for the preparation of your federal proposal. The federal government requires quite a bit of paperwork, and there are a few technical writers in the state that can help with the preparation of those proposals. But writing your first SBIR is an interesting and a learning experience. So it helps if you can hire someone to help you with that. And we can defray that cost entirely. We don't even require a match for that. And then if you do win a federal award, we can match phase 1s and 2s at 65% up to $100,000 of your federal award. And the really great thing about this program, I administer this program, and of course I have a soft spot for it. When you prepare your federal budget for an SBIR, there's always costs that they won't cover, time periods that aren't covered by the grant period, equipment that they won't buy, contracts that they won't help you pay for. And so we've really, this really fills a gap in the funding when you're completing a research project to this degree. The project does majority has to occur in the state, so 51% has to occur in Nebraska. We've historically been a low SBIR state. Since the inception of this program, federal awards to Nebraska businesses have exponentially increased. So I like to think, and I hope to think, that our program is benefiting Nebraska companies and that they have the ability to apply for SBIRs and fulfill them and win phase 1s and 2s after that. And we have some really cool companies. The Drone Amplified has their fire management technology that they use drones for, and they sell their product worldwide now. So our process, our cycle starts on July 1st. We have an online application. All of our information is available on our website there. We keep our cycle open. We don't have a closed cycle, so we just spend our money until it runs out. We review projects typically every other week, of course, while we have funding. If you do choose to apply for one of our programs, you have to understand a couple of things. Of course, it's a reimbursement process, so you do have to incur the cost first. So you do have to have that match available, because as you incur costs, you need to be able to pay them, and then we can reimburse you. Also, the contract period, we can't cover anything outside of that period. So if you apply today and start incurring costs, we can't cover any of those costs until we have a signed contract with you. And in particular with Prototype, that's our most popular program by far, and we do prioritize work that occurs in the state. So if you're contracting with developers or manufacturers or whatever it may be, if you can find something in the state, that project is going to be given higher rankings in our project review, and those costs are more likely to be covered by our program. It is a competitive program. The Prototype is probably the most competitive program. I'd say we've funded in the last couple years about 1/3 of the applications that we've received in that program. Hopefully we can touch more businesses as we increase budget in the next few years. But it is competitive, and we do look at feasibility of your project, the return on investment for the state. We want to see high quality jobs that you're adding, state tax revenue dollars that will be increasing because of what you're doing. And of course, work occurring in the state, because that's return on investment within the state for us. So our new grant management software, we're kind of revamping our applications right now. So hopefully they'll be a little bit even better once we reopen them. And everything will be done via that website, beginning with this next cycle. So applications are accepted through there, and then payment requests come through there, and you have to provide that documentation, like I said, proof that you've incurred the expenses, and that will occur on the website as well. Again, we reimburse at that percentage, so it's 66% for Prototype or 80% for value-added ag, and then 50% for academic R&D. SBIR, the only match required is the federal match. So we actually do reimbursements at 100% because you've already received those federal dollars. Typically, we do, each contract is individualized. So when you prepare your application, you also prepare a budget which lists your expenses. We would like you to come with actual expenses, bids from contractors or staff or whoever it may be, and kind of going in with a real budget, really knowing what it's going to cost. And then we typically put all those line items in your budget. We can be flexible with the amounts, but we need all of the line items within the contract. There are retention and callback items. However, a lot of times, what happens with startups is it just doesn't work out. It doesn't turn out to be feasible, or they can't commercialize, and that's fine. But we do expect that the business remains in the state for 3 years after we've awarded dollars. I don't know. So the value-added agriculture match, because we do prioritize value-adding agricultural projects, processing of commodities or we funded a company that basically x-rays meat and cuts of meat and then can grade them. So anything that kind of adds value to that chain of agricultural output for the state. We do prioritize that. We have $1 million set aside for just in particular for value-added agriculture projects, but we can go higher than that if we have more projects. The match is lower, and of course that's because we prioritize it. That process is totally the same, and those projects do have to fit within our subcategories, and we approve and work with those projects within the different programs. But if you believe, I think we have a checkbox that you're requesting value-added agriculture, but we also take a vote on it at our project review meetings to determine if we agree that it's value-added agriculture. So when you do prepare your application, a few things to think about are Ben and I kind of act as the mediator. We get information on the project from you, clear up any questions that might come up, and then we present the projects at a group meeting. So we go over all the projects of the last 2 weeks and present them to a committee of directors within the agency, and they will have various levels of technical understanding as well. So it's really important to make your project description clear. If you have acronyms and jargon that you use, just make it understandable for the layman, because not everyone's going to understand your particular industry and what you're doing. And some of it's very scientific. A lot of the R&D and the SBIR projects are science that's very innovative, and clearly we're not necessarily scientists. So just making it so we can understand what you're working on and explain it clearly to other people, because we really want to understand what the return on investment is for the state and for your business. And that's really how we make funding decisions. Being clear about the project, your customer shouldn't be everyone in the world. That just doesn't work. You really have to have a clear understanding of your business proposition, where your value comes in, an understanding of your competitors, some projections, some budgets, stuff that makes it obvious that you've done your research, that customers want what you're doing, and you'll have a way to prepare something to meet that need. And sometimes people already have a version 1 of their prototype and have figured out where they need to make improvements, and we come in there on version 2. But just really having a good understanding of your project and your budget when you apply. Again, customer feedback's great. If you have letters of interest, please add them, because that shows that what you're doing is actually wanted and somebody's going to pay for it, which is one of the most important things in the beginning of your business development. If you need assistance writing up a project plan and a business plan, we always rely on our partners. Nebraska Business Development Center is great at helping with business planning, and they can also help with a little bit of market research as well, and that's another important part. Don't try to go it alone. I mean, entrepreneurs are great and they have great ideas, but that doesn't mean you can do everything that a small business entails. Maybe you're not great at sales, maybe you need help with the development, whatever it may be. Just bring on somebody to assist your efforts. Make sure your team is rounded and that you can support an actual business and not just the idea. I work with a lot of scientists and they're incredibly smart, but that doesn't mean that they can write a business plan or they want to take the time to do that. So they often find someone that can help them with that. Having another set of eyes, like I said, using your resources, NBDC is a great resource. Invest Nebraska can help with some technical assistance. And then of course, our Microenterprise partners that I mentioned at the beginning are great resources as well. And all of these are listed on our website, and you should reach out to them if you need any technical assistance and training. And then just be open to feedback. Nobody's trying to pick on anyone, and no one's trying to pick apart your idea or say that it's a bad idea. we just want to help you get better. You won't get funded if you don't listen to the feedback and respond to it, because any small business will tell you they've had to make a lot of changes along the way to become successful. So there's our contact information, Ben, right now, and things could change if we end up with a $15 million budget. I think everything will be thrown in the air because no one's going to have time to run 3 programs by themselves. But primarily, Ben works on prototype R&D, and I work on SBIR, Microenterprise, and Seed. So you can reach out to us if you have questions. We're all remote right now, so shoot us an email. We'll get back to you. We can answer any questions. Our brochure is on our website as well. I'd recommend you take a look at that to kind of get an understanding of our programs and how they support businesses, and also how our partners support businesses as well. That's it. Do we have questions?
It doesn't look like it right now. If anybody does have any questions, we'll give you the next maybe minute to get those written in for Nisha. Thank you so much for that. That was so great. And while we're maybe waiting for questions, just as a reminder, this was getting recorded. So if you would like to watch it again, or if we had people leave early or come in late, it will get posted on our YouTube channel, our DSpace YouTube channel, and head to our community engagement platform, Beanstack, to say that you watch this webinar and get entered in to win some prizes. So let's see. Oh, I'm seeing one coming in the chat. About how long does it take for an applicant from inquiry until award notice?
Okay, so it kind of depends on where we're at in the cycle. We'll probably actually open up applications around June 1st this year. So of course we can't make any awards until July 1st. So that first cycle is going to take probably 6 weeks, because typically we try to keep it at a 2-week from application to award. I would say, however, let's average 3 to 4 at the beginning of the year, because we're going to get a lot of applications due to pent-up demand. We've gone 6 months without having any funds, so we're going to have a lot of applications come in probably at once.
Great. Well, I am not seeing any other questions coming in the chat or in the Q&A. So yeah, if you do have any, if you're thinking of any questions later on, please, it sounds like you are, please feel free to email either Ben or Nisha with your questions. And yeah, well, guys, thank you everybody for joining us for our 11 o'clock session. If you are interested, stay tuned or come back for our 1 o'clock, which is, it is going to be the Nebraska Enterprise Fund, and they were going to be talking about borrowing basics, and that will be at 1 o'clock today. So thank you, Nisha, for joining us today, and thank you everybody for attending, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.